In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate the warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited mind sharp and keen, with a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. In the ring we stand tall, words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave, every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited minds sharp and keen, with a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Heard. Will be heard. Will be heard.
Spartans! What is your profession? This is Sparta!
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another episode of the Sparta Arena on Spartan Institute Network. I am your host. It says it right there, Ghost of Sparta. So, how is everybody doing tonight? Hit a like, share, and subscribe. So, before we get into it, I can't do this by myself. I gotta bring my guests in, my homeboys and homegirl tonight. So, let's get the first one in. He's known as the most incredible man in the world, the Mr. Jiggle himself. On this street, he's known as Groot. I love doing that to you. David, what is going on, my man?
I'm okay. Just zone out. Long day.
I
And
feel you,
today's
brother. All
what?
right, let's get to the next person here. All right. Of course, he's reckless. He's crazy. Of course, we're talking about my man, Reckless Ripe. Reckless, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? How we
Not
doing?
much. Not bad, not bad. All right, let's get the last one. The most beautiful, the most incredible woman on this platform and on this fleet. We're talking about Grace. Embrace the grace. What is going on, young lady?
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. I really appreciate it. And I think it's an interesting topic. So, I mean, let's get into it.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, before we get into it, this has been a hot minute since you actually joined my panel. Or am I wrong?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. So, today I was able to do it. Even though I forgot I had a big errand to run before your show, but I told my friend we got to get it done because I got to be home. So I'm here
I do
and thank
appreciate
you
it.
for having me.
All right. So, guys, we're talking about contract of love, issue of a contract, a license. A prescriber of mine has emailed me and said, "Hey, this would be a good topic." I thought about it, like it is. So, I have some videos I'm going to play for you guys. Before we do that, I want to get your opening thoughts. Say, what do you guys think? Should a marriage have a renewal license or a renewal date after 7 years, for example, like a license? Like, let's renegotiate and see where we're at. Yes, David, you can go first. I already see you warmed up.
Warmed up. Really. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Black David. The idea of contract for love, renew it every 2 or before I was rudely interrupted. I'm not sure how this. Once again, as I was saying, I'm not sure how this is going to work as an African brother. Renew our contract for love, renew our marriage contract every 2 or 7 years. I'm not sure, but it may come up kind of rough because the negotiating might be kind of one-sided. For example, we African men want more booty, more access, no denial, anything go. They don't care how long it goes. You can't say no. You can't run away if you get the picture. Other than that, I don't know. This is a tricky, tricky, tricky topic. When I was told about this topic, I was going through my head like, how would this thing work out? What would they use against us? What would we have to compromise? I'm like, I don't know. This is tricky. That's what I can tell you. It's very, very tricky. It was funny that I was thinking about it at my job today. I was thinking, if I can renew my contract, if I feel like I want to get what I want, can I get a rain check? Can I have a replacement? Can I have one take that position and fulfill it better than the other one? Like you just drop it off at a shop or something. I'm just saying. Oh no, I hate this topic. They got me thinking even more than ever. I digress. Let it go to somebody else. I'm just taken aback.
Ray, you're up.
All
He
right,
stuck.
dude, I'm zoned out too. I mean, I my honest take on it is I think that marriages should be way harder to get into and way easier to get out of. Like, I feel like it should be like a magazine subscription, except for there's like a lot of work at the beginning to even get it. And then like if you're just not satisfied with your subscription, you just like don't renew it. Yeah,
Ooh,
that's my take on
ooh,
it. Like,
ooh.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna give you a lady's perspective on this.
Uh-oh.
No, we're not gonna have the choice to renew because remember, Ray, we have children in Rock. But
uh,
what we can do is why not every 2 to 3 years or so, it's not a counseling, but have like a serious retreat where you go back and negotiate things, talk about things to either delete things or add things to make it better and to enhance the marriage. I mean, I think it should be harder to get into a marriage. You know, we've don't do premarital counseling anymore. We
mhm.
don't involve a pastor or somebody in a authority with God position to get involved. People just get married and really don't vet each other nowadays. You know, like we got to find out who's the spender, who's the saver. I want 3 kids, he wants 6 kids. See, these are things that need to be talked about, and maybe every 2 3 years can be renegotiated. I don't think it has an expiration, guys, because if there's kids involved, you got to stay married. But that doesn't mean that things can't change. You can't spice it up. You can't add things, delete things, because at the end of the day, a marriage really should be customized to the couple. I get it that we have a blueprint from the Bible, yes, but I because of the world that we're living in today, it's okay to customize it to your liking. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say a person likes a certain thing and that person doesn't do it. Well, maybe we'll bring in another person to get it done. Why should that person be suppressed? But you have to communicate. So honestly, to land this thing, guys, I think that a marriage should seriously be looked at and revisited every 2 3 years to just make it better and keep trucking along because things can get stale, things can get boring, but we got to talk about it. We got to negotiate. We got to spice it up. But divorce shouldn't be an option. It's too easy to get divorced nowadays. I digress. My mic is muted.
Goddamn mute button got to me. I agree on all
David,
three.
why are you looking like that? What did I say something wrong?
No, no,
Oh,
no,
right.
not you. I'm kind of triggered because someone saying man ought to be giver. So give your wife what she wants, right? AKA Travel Nutty One.
Here. I put it up on a screen right now.
Really, we
All
should
right,
be
David.
givers.
Good. You want to answer that?
Really. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know I might hurt your feeling. I could give a fuck kill less about it.
Why I can't see the comment?
Let
I
us see
was.
the comment, please. Let my lovely lady see the comment before
Can
I
you see it now?
destroy it.
Yeah.
When when we have women in today's society say, "Oh, men are giving. They should give what their wife want." So we give our blood, our sweat, our tears, our life, our backbone, our mental health, our physical health. And what we get in return? Socks, really?
A
More
tie?
debt, more debt, more loan debt, more headache? Really? If we put that on the scale, what would happen to that tie or socks? Would it be catapulted out of the universe, or did it have no weight at all? This is why now men are saying, F it, fuck it. It's supposed to be an even give and take. But if the scale is lopsided to the left or lopsided to the right, something's wrong with the balance.
What is that noise?
So I would say quickly clear. Sorry, I'm playing my Monopoly game because I'm trying to depress my psyche over the topic. So if women think all men should be given and they should do nothing, then by all means, African mode, we can say we get a second wife to take over your position, move you to the side, and she take over your position, do a better job, and we should promote her at the head while you the second. How about that?
Can I address that question?
Go ahead.
Can you put it up, please, sir?
Sure.
I'm a visual person. I gotta see things. Okay, so men are to be givers, so your wife and give your wives what she wants. Well, I always throw it right back at Travel One. Women need to be givers as well, okay? Because we tend to be parasites. All we do is take, 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 take. And I'm gonna finish David's list. Not only does he give us everything that he said, but we also get their last name, we get their money, I mean, we get everything. The man gives up his little black book. He has to give up his life. What do we give as women? You see, we're so worried all the time about what the man should be doing that we need to take a mirror, point it at ourselves, and see what we as women, Travel One, need to be doing. It's called reciprocation. It's a give and take. Men may not like balloons and flowers for Valentine's, but if you know your man likes to smoke cigars, why not give him a box of his favorite cigars? You know, if you know your man likes baseball, and baseball season, by the way, our opening day, March 27th, give him tickets to the game. Y'all, a lot of y'all women are lame. You don't do for your man, but you expect everything from your man, but you give nothing. Okay, and then y'all have the nerve to not give it up. You didn't slut it yourself out in your 20s and your 30s. Now you don't want to give it to your husband, the man that you're asking to protect and provide and provision. You don't want to give it to him, but that's okay. Because you know what? I learned from my experience. I was neglecting mine. And you know what? That work wife looked real good to him. And I lost him to her. And I'm woman enough to admit that I had some kind of hand in the deterioration of my marriage. So you guys better learn, because if you don't, the next chick will. I digress. My mic is muted.
Can I get in real quick
And
for
it
2
could,
seconds?
and it could be a
Go ahead.
guac
Florida?
10,000. And he's like,
No,
oh,
I just want to say, no, we're gonna pull the playbook out of the Modern Women's Playbook, circa 2023. You'll take what you're given and you'll like it. How about that? Like, how about that? Like now everybody's giving that same energy, bro. Like
That's
we
nasty.
were told that we're supposed to accept you any kind of way, including Lizzo size. Apparently, regular size cars that you can't fit in are supposed to find ways to accommodate you by turning into couches. So
get a forklift.
as men, sprinkle. I think that you'll just take what you give him, bro. Like if I only make $10 and like, yo, I gotta get that game box and you should help me. Like, what about that? Like
It's
now
funny we're actually
nobody's
talking
happy.
about this. It's very funny this how we're going to start a conversation, because the first video addresses a lot of these topics, and I'm going to play it right now actually, because it's something. I'm just going to play the video. Very simple.
The society we're creating right now, more and more men don't want to get married. And I get why. There is almost zero upside for men getting married. This isn't me saying that men shouldn't get married, or women, but think about what society is telling men about what being a man is. Tell about society is fucking men hardcore for getting married. If you get married and you get divorced, a woman takes 50% of whatever you have. 80% of relationships, the man is the biggest provider. So that's a big fuck right off the bat. What are you getting in exchange for that? Second, if you have kids with her, you're fucked because the government doesn't think that you deserve shit. So even good dads who try to stay in the kid's life are fucked. So there's a lot of men going, why the fuck would I do this? The good news is that will correct itself because eventually then people start going, oh, right? When you create mistakes, you only create more error. Error creates more error. So we've gone so far the other direction that more and more men are going like, why the fuck would I get married? The society we're creating right now, more and more men don't want to get
And not just they don't want to get married, they don't want to share that access with nobody.
Nope.
So
Good point.
let's be real though. I'm not going by he say or she say. You based on data, facts, and truth.
to get
When you have more and more men without children
Bless you, Grace.
who are not
And
married, not just they don't want to get married, they want to share that access, killing themselves,
Nobody. Nope.
working 2 jobs. What do you think gonna happen? Hmm? Now let them get their passport. You're like, oh, you can get your passport. I can go. Okay, keep doing that. When we leave more single women at home, whereby one, the way society is going, costs are going up, food costs are going up, rent is going up, insurance is going up. Hmm. All these bills and physically speaking, how long can your body take when you continue to work until your body breaks down on you? I wonder. What's your limitation? Now they slicing out job. They give it a DEI now. Now what? They won't go by merit. I'm sorry, you can't walk for 3,000 yourself to promotion. Let me know if I'm wrong here. That was a thing back in the yesterday society. Everybody find their way through cutting corner, but now they want to scratch out all the secret, do all the shenanigans right now. I'm hearing how so many people are losing their home are mostly single women. They can afford the house loan.
Mm-hmm.
They can afford the mortgage. Most guys don't care about getting a house. They're comfortable with a studio or a one-bedroom apartment alone. They can stack their bread even more. A lot of the men who have no kids are planning their exit strategy just in case they have far more than enough bread. I'm being honest with you. I'm thinking to a lot of young guys as of lately, and I'm hearing that conversation, what they plan to do. They want to have so much bread stack up that they can say, no, I'm done working and just go to another country and never come back
Mm-hmm.
again. I have a friend of mine who left, went to South Korea, like it over there, don't want to come back.
Yeah.
So we can play this ghetto bullshit. And if you never travel out or don't even have a passport, oh yeah, I got 2 passports. What that make me better than you, and you know it.
Right, go ahead.
I think it's an interest. He's spot on, and as somebody who's younger and out here dating, literally everything that David said is ringing true. Um, like I said, I've told people multiple times. I was like, my last girlfriend was probably the last American that I'm going to date, honestly. Because for me personally, and this is just me personally, I'm like, and my receipts are out here. So like, I go to work, I go to the gym, I come home. I don't believe that the women that are in the dating pool that want to be married are deserving of somebody like me. I just don't think so. And I understand that no matter where you go, there you are. I'm pretty awesome. I don't have problems getting dates. I don't have problems being lonely. Like if I don't want to be alone, I don't have to. And I do go on dates. Like in the sense of like, I'm not going to, I don't like eating by myself. I have perfectly fine paying for meals. I do all the things. You get the girlfriend treatment. You'll just never get me. That's the recourse of the society that we've made. Now, in regards to leaving, it's not a scare tactic. It's the truth. America's bleeding millionaires. Most of the crypto bros, we all have passports. We're all leaving. You guys are not only bleeding out millionaires, which are your next 1%ers. Most of your new elites aren't going to be here full time because it's toxic. It's not good for your mental health. The food's poisoning you. The mentality is poisoning you. The people just being around them, it's poisoning you. And there are still cultures and places that you can go that men are actually appreciated. It's not that women aren't going to be women. Women are going to be women, regardless. But there's a difference between going, this is somebody who actually appreciates what I'm doing for them versus this is somebody who feels entitled to it that isn't going to be thankful. And then on the back end is like, screw you also because I don't like men because I'm a feminist and like men are the problem. Like, I don't believe that level of mindset deserves a good man. I really don't. I think that they deserve the predators and abusers that they're stuck with because that's what you're stuck with. That's your dating pool. Oh, I don't want to date someone who voted for Trump. Guess what you get left with? Chomos and predators. So I hope you don't have kids, single mothers, because that's your dating pool. Where are the real men at? They're not Democrats at this point. They're just not. But you guys want to put so many barriers of entry. And to be honest, I understand that affects your average lower middle class, the guys who aren't moving on an upward trajectory. That affects them. It does not affect me because I can afford to leave. Like my life gets better on every measurable metric every year. I get stronger every year. I get more money every year. My options expand every year. And it's not about the money because money is just an option. But the deal is I will not settle for someone who's not going to be appreciative of what I've established and what I've built because I already have a house. I already have my car paid for. Like I'm not somebody who needs a roommate. Like I don't need you here. Go ahead, David.
And Ray. Oh, sorry, David. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, actually,
Oh,
I was going to say,
go,
hang on,
go,
David.
go, Grace.
Let Grace go
I
first,
got to
then you can answer your question.
go.
And
Write it
and I
down,
just
David.
want to build on what Ray said because Ray can get a woman to clean his house for him. Ray can get a woman to cook for him. Ray can get somebody to go get his go to the cleaners. So what can you possibly bring to Ray of value that makes you stand aside from any type of woman? But a lot of y'all women think because y'all have a nice body and are pretty and got a vagina that's enough. And it's not. And men are waking up now. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I was told last night on a live, you are beautiful. You got your hair. You still got your beauty, but you need to take your fat ass to the gym. And I sat in that on a live. Okay. I know I'm overweight. Can't say I'm morbidly obese, but I took it. Do you know what just got to the house while we were on the live? A new digital scale. Okay. He told me straight up, and shout out to Stacy Prince. He's like, if you want at your age and the kind of man and the kind of caliber man that you want, you're gonna have to lose weight. You're ahead of most 50-year-olds because you got beautiful hair, you still got your looks. I mean, that shit hit me like a ton of bricks, but you know what? I ate it. I sat in it. You know, and that's what we need to do, women. You want to learn about men? Learn from the men. Learn from Ray. Learn from Sparta. Learn from David. Because us women, we can't learn about men from women. And that's the mistake. Men don't think like women. Women don't think like men. We are wired differently. And we got to stop trying to force these men to think and feel like us because it's not going to happen. Because you're going to have high value men like Ray, and they're going to go elsewhere, and they're going to go to Colombia, and they're going to go to Brazil, and they're going to get them a wife. And when there's so many beautiful women here, but they just don't want it. And no, Travel One, women are not going to be just fine. 2 little kids just died. They froze to death in Detroit because the mother was homeless and didn't have a home for their children. Okay? They froze to death in a parking lot in a casino because she couldn't find nowhere to go. So women are not going to be just fine. Her 2-year-old and 4-year-old froze to death. You think Kevin Samuels was kidding when he said winter is coming? Winter is here, guys. I digress. My mic is muted.
David, go ahead.
Now I got my digital skills too.
You still look like an Amazon post boy right now.
Oh, David got one too. Hold on,
I
is
actually have
everybody
one
going to
too.
whip out their
Hey,
scale? Is that what we're doing?
hey, I got it because of my own physical health. I got to keep track of it. But let me be with you. Shout out to a security boss. What she mentioned, she's a doer. Everybody who knows security boss live know that she was living in the United States in Northwest South Carolina. She was a real estate, she had her own business whatsoever. To sell all she had to move to South Africa and got a house, not only much bigger than what she had before, but cost less. Newsflash, this is the truth. There's a massive real estate boom in Africa that you have no freaking idea of. That is number one. Number two, the house are built better and solid than the house you see in the United States, but cost much less. That's number two. Number three, Africa is going on a fourth or fifth wave of industrialization, meaning quietly for the past 11 to 15 years, there's a lot of African American, Afro Latinos, Caribbean have been quietly migrating over there, starting businesses, starting companies, starting all type of manufacturing plants, and so on and so forth, doing things. They're not manufacturing car, truck, and SUV. So anyone who knows what the term networking is, Recreate can find a new network where he at and find out people who are doing businesses here and over there and say this what we're doing on the side and he can rub elbow and see what's going on and find out that oh I can do this over here. I met 2 or 3 brothers on this platform here who are from Philadelphia. One who's a truck driver got 3 legit wife. 3, not one, not two, 3.
Where's
And
the little
they're
piggy?
catering
Piggy number one,
and
piggy number two, piggy number three.
and what's funny about they're all catering to him. So travel one. If a man leave here who met you and find 3 beautiful queens who do him better, and he married all 3, that means he got 3 for the price of you, meaning he replaced your ass and got 3 better ones, and he moved up in life. He don't have to marry 3; he can marry one. But what I'm telling you right now, don't think for a second you're the hottest commodity. That is not the case. A lot have been going on for more than 2 decades. The problem is you're not well informed of what's been going on. Social media make you blind and stupid unless you get out in the world and see it for yourself. Then you will understand what have been taking place as of lately. The problem with this platform, I've seen it for the past 2 years. Not just goals, not of it, not great. A lot of you have seen this bullshit, the back and forth. Oh, forget that. You can go. You can do this. It's not going to work. This is not a scare tactics. There are too many proof and evidence to this. Let's say in the Edward Bachelor. Let someone say, "Oh, we got client for you in another African country. They would have paying way more money," and he bring it to you and find out he got way too much business over there to do. And while he built his empire there, somehow, I'm not saying he's going to, if he greedy, he may have 2 wives and say, "I can do that," and got a mansion. We're gonna say he's a sellout? No, he did it some
I ain't
justice.
going to Africa, bro.
I'm
Like it
not saying
ain't
you are.
Okay, let
happening.
me let me let
I'm
me
not.
jump
It
in here
ain't
for a
I'm
minute.
not saying you
happening.
are.
Ray
I'm
said
not
that's
saying
too
you are.
far.
They don't
I'm
have
not saying you
stable
are.
property laws there, bro. Like I'm not going no. Like I'm about
David,
money.
let me
I
let
like.
me let me jump in here for a second, guys. I need a let me jump into trouble one for a second because she made a comment I didn't like. First of all, it was about Grace. So first of all, who would date her on this panel? a lot of men would date her. Actually, she's cooks. She cleans. She knows how to take care of a kid. She's beautiful. What part? I know. I know very well. If somebody was dating, she'd give me my cigar, a Coke, goddamn beer, and food. My marinara is a little better than hers. That's a whole different argument.
Oh no, we still gotta challenge that. We
Yeah.
still.
But
Mm-mm.
but as a woman, I got to know her on a personal level. What, over a year? I want to say, Grace, give or take, right?
Yeah, yeah, about a year.
Yeah, I will. I will go for back
I
for
didn't see. I didn't see that comment. I didn't see what she wrote,
Oh,
but
that's
that's
why I'm
okay.
addressing it right now
Well,
because I put it up there and I'll post it. One of my things I always post on every stream is no hate speech, no personal attacks. So let me just scroll up to here a second. Let me find it. Oh, where is
But
it?
she does this all the time in everybody's
Here it is.
lives. You know. Nope. No,
So
that's your rules.
yeah. So no, I have an issue with that. So I know her personally, and just I understand you might not agree with the topic, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with what we're saying or anything like that. But no personal attacks. I will definitely kick you off immediately. And anybody who's on my panel know how I am about that. David, am I bullshitting?
No, you're not.
Right? Am I bullshitting?
no.
Okay.
But
Let's
you
move
know
on
me,
from that.
I like to go for the juggler.
I'm being nice right now. Trust me. And she has another comment. Here's the last thing I have to say to her.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
I like that.
Oh my
All right, let's play the
god.
next
But
video, guys.
wait, seriously, talk to security boss. The house that she got, if you see the video,
Well,
you will
no.
drop your
I've
jaw.
seen the video. I just wouldn't want to fuck. I don't. I definitely don't want to live in a place where they're doing reverse racism against white people. Like that is not a. That's not a country that I want to be in. Because you know what's going to happen after they remove all those white farmers? They're going to fucking starve to death because they're not capable of doing those things. It's the same thing that happens to every society when they kick people out of a that have done the infrastructure and they don't know how to do it themselves. Like the stuff that's going on there, like I don't like that. It's literally the inverse of America in the 60s. Like fuck that. And like fuck
All
those
right.
people, to be honest.
Let's play the next video really fast.
Think that marriages should have expiration dates or renewal dates built in. See the argument on both sides. So if you have this out at every, let's say, 10-year mark, you have to pass the marriage threshold again. So I think in that sense, it would lead to fewer divorces because either you'll ride out your 10-year relationship, or if you're continuing, it's because you choose to. So I think it would be healthier in terms of like the actual dynamics of the relationship as a society that's going to break down the, sanctity of marriage, or at least the institution of marriage, the importance of it. And don't think you could have it, even though it is a cool idea and makes sense conceptually.
You could build this shit into a prenup if you wanted to. I think there should just be an immense cost to divorce. I think a lot of people would just take that out if there's no consequences. In your worst moments, it's those fucking consequences that force you to just stay locked in. Do you
I don't. No. I don't. No. Let me be honest. Should be costly to get a divorce? What should be the reason for it to be costly? Cheating, secret children outside of marriage, financial cheating, like it had to relate to some kind of way. Like, should a man or a woman stay in a marriage if their spouse betrayed them multiple times? Should they stay in there, or just should be allowed to go on? Like, I'm just being logical about it. I know we talked about it before the show started, and Grace mentioned if there was supposed to be more gagging, she would have said, "Okay, I can put more gagging on the table." that caught me laughing. I was like,
I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but the fact still remains is he stepped out of the marriage and I forgave him the first time. And then he did it again a year later. And the first time it was like some fatal attraction type shit. We had to call the cops. The house
Oh
got broken
no.
into, restraining order. I mean, it got really bad. And I still forgave him and we moved on for a year. But the thing is that once it happens once, And I mean, a lot of my friends and family said, "Don't forgive him. Once a cheater, always a cheater. He's going to do it again." But I believe that everybody deserves a second chance. You got to give people an opportunity to rectify their mistakes. But when he did it the second time, that immediately at that moment when I found out, he was asked to leave, and he's been gone since October 14, 2017.
And
Grace,
I
I'll be
get
very
that.
honest. Hang on,
And I
David.
get that.
Hang on a second, David. I'll be very honest with you. Me personally, there was not going to be a second chance. Some things I can give a second chance. That's
Well,
one.
men are different. Men are different.
I agree
Men.
100%. I'm like, if my woman was cheating on me, that's it. You're done. And I've been cheated. It sucks. It's the worst feeling in the world. Me personally, yeah, gunshots will be going off. That's me again. I'm a little crazy, a little sparking here, but don't take my craziness for. But again, I would not just give a second chance. Once you did it, that's it. It's done. I can't.
Most men don't.
Yeah. Again, like you said,
No,
men
it's too
are
hard.
different. I'm not going to
It's hard
argue
to
that.
take. It's hard to take cheating lightly. It's like some men are a little more visual than others. Some will have the type of crazy thought just to picture their woman getting it from some. It will just mess them up real bad. They're like, nah, I am done, done. It is gone. It's too late. I don't want to hear it. Some people like, I'm ghosting you. You don't exist to me no more. I remember that I was back in high school. A girl from my cheated on me. I act like she never existed. She'd be right there. I'll see right through her. And that thing was like, people think I was crazy. I'm like, no. I said, who you talking about? She's right there. I don't see her. I trained my
He said,
I trained my mind not to recognize her at all. Period. Literally, people think I was crazy. I would do that for a whole entire month, and then some people like, no, this guy's not playing around. He's dead serious about this. So imagine someone who made so many sacrifices, sweat, working two jobs, pull their mental health. A lot of these corporate jobs are not so simple. Some will stress a person out, and the person will just say, "This suck it up. It requires what to do, but to come home and get the total opposite of what he bargained for. What do you expect to happen? Hmm? Oh, if you're okay, or you know what? Since you say you should give, it's all right. If that's the case, no problem. I can bang your sister. Then how about that? You can watch when I do it, or I'll bang your aunt, or I'll bang your mom. That's the ghetto mind mentality of book people from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. Grace is from the Bronx. We understand how the fireball really is. Brooklyn cat, if they feel like they were on a vendetta, oh, that's the case. I'm banging your mom. I'm banging your
David,
auntie.
you got a Queen person here too.
What?
You forget I'm from Queens, right?
Yeah, you're Queen. I forgot about Queens. He's from Queens.
Damn, this is
But the thing is, in Brooklyn, they're very vendetta. They don't care. You do the guy dirty, oh, he going for your family member. Everyone going to get it, and he does not care. So you cannot get mad on what, but you cheat on him. So I'm gonna test drive your sister. I'm gonna test drive your cousin. I'm gonna test drive your aunt. Your mom might even get it. And when that happens, I could care less. Now the Bronx, well, I don't know about the Bronx. They cutthroat. They
mm,
cutthroat. They'll make you sit there and watch if they wanted to.
dang.
mm-hmm.
Talking about, look what you made me do.
Look what you did. See, the thing is, Travel One, you say it's so, most people say, "Oh, I'll never forgive him." But when there's kids involved and there's assets involved, I stayed in that marriage not just for me, but for my son. He was at a very vulnerable age where he was going to need his father.
Mhm.
See, again, it's not all about us women. It's also about that child. Y'all act like men are perfect and they're never supposed to make mistakes. Women cheat just as much as men. So we so busy pointing the finger at men. Y'all, hold on. Y'all women are doing it just as much as men. So what are we saying right now? What are we doing right now?
Okay, okay
Can
for
happen.
me, but not
Trust
for
me,
thee.
that will not happen to me again. Again, for cheating was kind of lame, but it will never happen to me again. If you guys already know what we talked about in the background, it will never happen to me for at least for that reason. But I mean, why not just do better? I hate the fact that my son told me as well, Mom, why get married? Look at you and dad. How many years, high school
Mhm.
sweethearts, and it's so disheartening. I said, yeah, but be better than us. You grew up with two parents. You saw what it was. You saw how much it hurt the family with what happened. But and Travel once said, no, they don't, Grace. Women are not like men. What are you saying? That you are a man, Grace? What's the difference? I didn't say that, Travel
No,
one.
they do that. The data's in on that. They do. They do. Go get
Women
it.
are actually worse than men sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Y'all want to
You think
fight
women?
men like
Hold on,
y'all
hold on,
think y'all
hold on.
men.
Time out.
Well, no,
Time out.
no.
Time out.
It's just
Time
so
out.
much easier because even a man who wants to cheat, you still got to go find a woman that wants to let you hit. Like, what are
Hold
you
on. Hold
talking
on.
about?
Is this person lying here saying that women are not worse than men? Then where you have love and hip hop from then? She put their revenge is juvenile, but yet you will sit down and watch multiple seasons of love and hip hop while these women
Bro.
are going on top of stupid revenge and then some. It's juvenile but entertaining to you though.
You're
Huh?
always working. You're never home. Then you'll complain that he's
Whoa, whoa,
broke and
whoa,
he ain't
whoa,
bringing in money.
whoa, whoa. Say that again.
Facts.
No, hold on. Say that again, Grace.
You're never
She's always what?
home. You're
She's
always
always
working. So that's why
hold
you
on.
cheated?
So if I'm not working, I'm a bum, right?
Exactly. So
Mhm.
it's like, come on, women. It's like you guys are double talking. You're double
Double
talking.
talking.
Here's
No,
where I'm
it's not
gonna
like
throw my
double
2 cents in.
retarded.
Hang on, David, because people say that all the time. Because I work at crazy hours as a chef, and saying, "Oh, you always working," blah blah blah. Like, okay, you know my schedule. I get home around 7 o'clock every night, or eight
Mhm.
o'clock, or whatever. We can work that around. I will make time for you. You also have to make time for me. So it goes both ways. It's a two-way street here. Say bitching about me, I'm never hanging out with you is also your fault. You can make time for me, not one way or the other. So if you're bitching, you don't have time. Like, don't bitch at me because I'm gonna. If I have to pick my job, who provides, I don't, it's the normal stuff like electric, water, maybe paying my mom's chemo medication and so on. Yeah, I'm gonna pick that any day of the week.
And health insurance and medical benefit
A car.
and life insurance and a car, have you get a
Mhm.
place or a house, and they're bitching and mourning about that.
One thing I would say I'm very proud of myself. I'm not trying to tweak my own bubble here. When my parents first split up about 5 years ago, that's where I became the man of the house. And I had to take over all the bills, or something. I always made pretty decent money. But this is the first time I had to be focused on not only me, whoever lived under my roof.
Mhm.
And it has been one time. My electric bill got cut off. We always had food in the fridge. We always had internet. We always had heat. We always had everything. There've been a couple times I it was a little tight. I didn't have spending money, but everything was paid still end of the day. Even when I got laid off from my job, guess what? I went to work in an Uber for 3 or 4 months while I found something. And the job didn't pay enough. Guess what I was doing? I was working my full time job and Uber at the same time. Still
And
provided.
what was she doing?
My ex,
Sticking, yeah, when you were doing all that work to try to be the man that you're supposed to be, what was she doing to facilitate your life?
she was cheating on me at the time I found out later on.
Well,
Simple.
That's
you're
hard. That's
welcome.
that's that's crazy.
Yeah.
That that's
Yeah.
that's that's crazy to me.
And yet there are lady outside the country who prefer a man who works, so when he come home, she will cater and she'll give him the guac 10,000, make sure we leave all that stress and then some, fix him a bubble bath and fix him a plate and then some. But you don't find that a threat to your livelihood, meaning that you'll be put to the side. You can act like it's not going to happen. Young female are watching, they're observing, they're seeing the bullshit,
Yep.
and saying to themselves, "I don't want that life.
Well, I
Y'all
mean,
can have it."
but the issue is, David, it's too late now. Because it's just like with Grace's kid who doesn't want to get married. The reason he doesn't want to get married is because he knows what it costs. We know what it costs. We're seeing
Financially, mentally,
not
emotionally, physically.
100%. And the thing was, the video that we just watched said that there needs to be a higher cost for marriage. The highest cost for marriage is for men. We already paid the highest cost. Like, there's no higher cost that you can have besides your complete livelihood, your existence. Like, we talk about men's mental health, like, men off themselves over this.
Mm-hmm. Or they kill, they delete people.
100%. Yeah. Like, I mean, that there's no higher cost than what men pay right now. Like unless you get a divorce and you just get put down by somebody else, like, that's the only way that it could potentially be worse, is if somebody else came in your house, was like, "You getting divorced?" Pop, like, cool. Later. Like, on to the next one.
Let's not forget paternity fraud. We got men who are busting their ass for to be their child for
Well,
X amount of years. That to find out child number one is not his, child number
100%.
two is not his, child number
100%.
three is not here. What you think that's going through that man's mind?
Well,
You
I
don't
mean,
think in a second he looking at you, Johnny Cage, finish her?
it's not just that. It's also the fact that you're basically, it's almost like being a Vietnam War vet. You go and defend the country,
Oh,
you do what you're told, and you come back and they spit in your face. That's
And
what we're
that is the
dealing with.
worst feeling. I know about you guys on the panel, but for personally me, that was the worst feeling ever. Finding out, even after a breakup, it was like a year and a half later. I found out, oh, she was cheating on you the whole time, dude. I'm like, what? I'm like that. My heart dropped to my stomach, and I was just getting her over because it takes time to get over someone you love. And when I found that out, like, now this explains everything.
There's there's no need to go see a therapist about something that's just a commonality, especially within the culture. It's called, what seeing a therapist is? Just not fucking dealing with you. It's that simple. Like, it doesn't cost me any money to not date you. It doesn't cost me any money to not date you seriously, to be honest. It costs me nothing. Like, I still get to continue doing what I'm doing, and then when I get to book that flight, bye. Like, I just get to fucking leave. And then I'll go get what I want. Like, this isn't rocket science. Like, it's not a matter of, oh, you got to go see a therapist so that you can deal with these gutter awful mentality women that are out here that aren't going to appreciate you. There's no way that you're going to psychologically trick people into doing this, and the marriage numbers are saying exactly that. We just quit. We're just not going to play with you. We'll take our balls and leave. You know how many women are on this planet? A fucking bunch. A bunch. So then you go, oh, okay, well then what's that mean? Oh, we're in the middle of a financial war that apparently women aren't aware of yet with the debasement of the dollar. So you don't know how money works, but I do. Guess what I get to do? Leave. Now, who's coming to save you? I mean, if women are going to do just fine, then like, this shouldn't even be something that you're willing to argue about, because it shouldn't matter to you. What's going to happen is you're going to get old. Then it's going to matter to you, because then you're going to be going, oh, I need someone to help me clean this fucking mess up that I'm in. I'm tired. I was tired, boss. I don't want to work another 30 years. If you're working hard now, like, great. That's cool. You can work as hard as a dude now. See if you can do that till you're dead. Like, that's fine. I can. I know what I signed up for. Matter of fact, I'm so good at working hard that in about 30 more months, I'm not going to have to work anymore. You get to continue to fucking work. I'll be sitting around managing my fucking brokerage account. You know what my work's going to be? A couple hours a week moving some fucking money around. I have all the time in the fucking world. I'm going to be 43.
Ray, I think you're right. It's a lost cause. Somebody put it in this perspective a couple nights ago. They said, if Eve misbehaved in front of God, Eve, in front of God and did wrong. What is to be expected? Sometimes I hate the fact that I'm affiliated with the women gender because it's just like, wow, if Eve could do that in the presence of the Lord, imagine what these hyenas are out there doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But you got to keep trying. The family unit is important.
It
All right, let's play
is.
the
I
next
mean, we're
video.
just going to have to make a new generation of Americans. That's what's going to happen. We're just going to have to go recruit, which is what we're going to do. Like, we'll just go recruit.
We're actually getting to that point more and more, and we don't realize that.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point, like at least in this country, is I wake up every day and I hate turning the news on because what am I gonna see is going to piss me off? Is somebody's going to be deleted? Is it going to some kind of crazy law is going to pass? We're in our most craziest times I ever seen, or even read in a book.
Right.
And we need to, I don't say unite as a team, everybody, but we need to watch each other's backs, and we're not. We're pushing each other off the bridges. Here we go. Hey, David, see ya. Ray, see ya.
Yep.
Grace, see ya. We don't give a shit. We're taking people out. We don't give a fuck. I've never been like that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put my hand out there and reach out because I know anybody on this way. I can call David. David, you got my back. Ray, do you got my back? Grace, I don't even need to answer that.
We'll form up like Voltron.
Yeah, you know I got your back.
Yeah. All right. Let's play the next video and let's get into it.
Okay.
Marriage is not a contract. You've probably heard people say things like, we don't need to get married because I don't need a piece of paper to prove that I love this person. And maybe you've even said that kind of thing. And the church will say, you're right, you don't need a piece of paper to prove you love someone. That's a contract. And a contract is really good. A contract is super helpful. A contract is what? A contract is an agreement for an exchange of goods or services based off of a condition. So if I need to re-roof the house, the contractor comes over, and there's a contract. And the contract says, give me this much money, I will re-roof the house, then you pay me this much money. Great. An agreement for an exchange of goods or services based off a condition. And the condition is, if you don't re-roof the house, I don't owe you money. And if you don't pay me the money, I won't re-roof the house. So if you don't do your part, I don't have to do my part. And that's the great thing about a contract is, again, agreement for a exchange of goods or services based off a condition. And too many people go into marriage with that idea.
Let me speak on that. Anton was saying that at one point a year or two ago, marriage like a contract. At first, I had to look at it this way: that yes, he's a Christian guy. He's a Christian guy who have been married for 20 years, and he may see it that way. If marriage was a contract in that aspect of his thinking, that being said, that a lot of contracts have been broken already before they got year 5.
Yep.
I'm being technical about it because it's like an agreement, good and service, right? Remember I said about the scale, if it's lopsided? So once again, Travel One, you just played yourself. So if a man supposed to give all, then you put to bend over, open your cheeks, and mind your business and take the beating.
Wow, Mr. Bennett.
Hey, I'm just calling out how I see it. When he said I'm hungry, you should get your ass off the bed and get him something to eat. That's part of the contract. If you say, honey, my feet hurt, I had a long day, you should get your massaging grease on and get that feet lubricated so you can be able to go to work the next day. Now, if we cannot do none of the things that require for him to give, then booking mentality, your sister can take your place. Bye. Your auntie can take that place. Bye. Your cousin can take that place. Bye. I might even be gully. Your mom can take that place. Bye. Since you don't want to fulfill the contract, I'll sign a new contract with somebody else. Am I right, Reckless Trade? You write
Yeah.
contract. The contract has to be fulfilled from both ends, right?
I mean, it people are the issue is it's like this is the problem. And it was what I was going to say earlier is, and this is the reason that this is going to work out the way that it's going to work out. Men are becoming more conservative than ever before. Young men. They're sick of it. They're sick of being raised like defective women. They're sick of being told that anything that they do that's masculine is immature, or I don't think that's what a man is. You don't define what men are. Men define what men are. Men define, actually, what everything is, to be honest. just being truthful here. That whole he woman, she raw, boss babe stuff is at our leisure. What we allow, it's allowed. We tolerate it. We go, that's cute. And you know what? You guys even went through the process of taking the worst jobs on the planet and being in the most debt to be teachers to cripple as many men as you possibly could so that you could pretend to compete a little better. Fine. Those are the weak ones. Those are the ones that nobody wants anyway. You don't want them. The rest of us actual men don't want them. And women are becoming more liberal than ever. You guys are getting radicalized. You're feminist. You're 18th wave feminism now. It's not even you guys are still saying that people are getting paid more than you, to where you walk into a job and think that if y'all got paid less, they would only hire women. You smell better. You got titties and yams, and you work for less. Like, what are you talking about? I wish everywhere that I went was just full of women that was making 2 cents a fucking hour like some slaves, bro. It'd be the best. Everything would smell better. I'd be able to look at nice shit all the time. It'd be great. That's not the reality of what goes on. The reality of what goes on is you get paid appropriately based on the jobs you do, and y'all are only advocating for jobs of power. I don't see equal women in the dumpster business. Y'all ain't trying to dump trash. I don't see y'all cleaning porta potties, because that you make a bad cleaning porta potties. Drive that truck around, spray down the poop, give a little scrub down, spray it with the cinnamon shit so I can go in there and take a fresh dump. Know what I'm saying? I'd rather speed off myself. Because I work in blue collar work, which is the other reason that it's like, how do I have more money than y'all? It's fucking crazy. So I'm dusty, right? So y'all are advocating for the shit jobs that we do where we make more money than you. You don't want to do those jobs, which is fine, because most of the time we don't want to do them either. That's why they pay so well. But it's at our leisure. And when I say that we'll just go find other Americans, we are in a global market. The same way you can get flown across the country, that same dude can fly a chick in from fucking anywhere. The same dude that found you, we got access to everyone. I go hashtag Vietnam tourist. Go find me some chicks. Hashtag anywhere. Look at what's going on in the countries where they got exactly what they want. Look at the Scandinavian countries. Look at the Nordic countries. I'll go land over there. I can get me a real tall, fine-ass white girl that's going to chase me the fuck down. Like, and be appreciative that she has me, because they've crippled their men to the point to where there's no fucking men there. And they don't want the men that they have, that they've engineered. So as those chasms split, somebody's got to give. The issue is men will solve for the problem. And if that means I'm going to go recruit somebody from a different team and come make some different Americans that have a value set that's at least closer. Because like you said, women think like women. You're 100% right, Travel One. But a woman from a culture that values a man, that woman's going to act right till she dies. And I only need one. I only need one. And it won't be one of y'all. So once everyone starts doing that, once you start seeing this culture divide happen to the tune to where it's not, oh, you voted for Trump, that's weird, I don't want to date you. It's, oh, you wanted to vote for Camel Toe Harris? You're a fucking idiot. And you have bad value set. And I wouldn't want you around any child, let alone my child, because the team that you advocate for is a bunch of fucking chomos. Once we get to that point, like, where are we going? Where are we going? You're gonna have the blue-haired men with moops come try to do something to deal with me? Really? When I field strip a gun every day for 30 minutes before I go to sleep and go shooting once a week, at least? Really? Get yourself a bunch of crash test dummies, because this isn't even shaping up to be any type of discrepancy that y'all are going to be able to deal with, because everyone on that team is a female, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's going to come down to values, and those values are becoming clearly defined, and they're becoming clearly defined amongst the children. So, like, as this divergence happens, like, you guys can keep ruining women all you want. It's not going to end well in the grand scheme of things. Like, in that battle of attrition, we need each other. But, like, that marriage rate, obviously the divorce rate's gone down, but people aren't getting married. And people aren't wanting to get married. Like, we've got infrastructural issues with the institution for those of us who are younger that don't have what Bennett has. Like, that generation of women, I mean, honestly, as somebody who will date older women, it's some great older women, but you can't have kids. So, like, if you don't have kids already, then, like, that doesn't even fucking work. Like, it can't go beyond a certain point. And the ones that are younger are the problem, is where the problem is. So, like, the people that you would be breeding with, that's a consistent issue. I can go out on dates. I can go hook up with chicks. But at the end of the day, when you're talking and sussing these chicks out, you're like, I would not want you around my kid, and I don't believe that you're intelligent enough to raise my child. So, like, that goes nowhere, which comes back to the point of, like, other cultures, they don't have the toxicity of what our culture has. And so people are going to start gravitating towards that.
Grace?
I just want to say hi, Mr. Bennett. How are you? It's been a minute.
Doing
Nice
well.
to see you. How you been?
Mm-hmm. Likewise. I've been well.
Good.
Very well.
Well, I mean, and Mr. Bennett is a gem because he's the one that's married on this panel.
Yep.
He's the one that's been married long term. So everything that you've been hearing thus far, Mr. Bennett, what do you think? I mean, how do I tell my 18-year-old son that he should get married when he sees what me and his father went through, when he sees what people are going through? He don't see enough of the Mr. Bennetts. These kids don't see you and your wife. What should I tell my son?
I think you should tell your son, do you know what you want? I mean, I talked about this in the last show, and I thought the show was about, should marriage be a contract or not, or should it have an expiration date? So it seemed like this conversation has veered back into the same kind of conversations that I don't think are necessarily constructive. At the end of the day, a person has to decide, what do you want? And then how serious are you about going after and not settling for that which you don't want? So again, do you have a mentality, even if the numbers are against you, there are women, I don't care what people want to say, there are eligible, fine, marriageable Black women or women of any race in the United States, or Black men in the United States. Do you want one or do you not? And the question is, are you willing to go through the numbers just to get what you want? It's no different than sales. If any of you guys ever worked in sales, try to do a sales cold call. How many cold calls do you have to make?
A bunch.
So but again, if I go into, most people aren't buying, or most people don't want our services or whatnot, or the industry's bad, no one wants to buy our stuff. I mean,
What's the point?
What's the point?
It put on the point of having a marriage contract. Because I was looking at.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
But even then, I mean, I want to again address Grace's question, because she's saying, what should you tell your son? Again, if your son wants to get married, why does he want to get married? Because it doesn't matter what the society's pushing or what have you. He either wants it or he doesn't. Now, if he does, then again, you start to do the work in terms of, first of all, are you marriageable? Which I say for anyone, especially for women. Women talk about you want to be married, but are you marriageable? Men have to do the same thing, especially in this environment where you're hearing a lot of men talking about the lack of. But again, are you marriageable? Right? And are you built? So trying to circle this back to the theme of the show, if it's long term, are you built for the long term? Do you want children? This is one conversation I never hear men ever have. Do you want children? If you do want children, how many? Guys don't talk. I've never been growing up. I never was in a conversation when guys were looking forward to the number of kids that they were looking to have. Never had that conversation. So marriage is built for the long term, but are you built for it? Or is it simply about getting somebody who satisfies only your needs? Marriage is a sacrificial institution. You go into it with the mindset that, look, I'm here to satisfy and to please the vows I take to my wife and before my God. And she does the same thing towards me. Doesn't say, well, unless you do this and that, then I'm not going to do mine. That's what a contract is. Contracts define how relationships end, not how they're sustained. The purpose for a contract is that you end a relationship gracefully once terms and conditions have been met. So contracts aren't meant to be permanent. But in a marriage, that's a different ball game. But I think, I don't think people are educated in terms of what that is. And people have been buying into this idea that marriage is about, what do I get out of it?
It's transactional now.
And I would tell anybody I've ever counseled on marriage, anybody I've ever talked to about it, it's like, look, if you're not willing to give all of yourself, then don't do it.
I think Mandrell said it perfectly. I wasn't sure it was on one of these panels or another show, or another channel. He said you have to be most unselfish person when you're married because you have to worry about her needs, her this, her that, and that's how it's supposed to be. And same thing for a woman. It needs to be unselfish. Like, okay, what does my man need? Like he had a rough day. Okay, let me get him a beer, his cigar, his video game, whatever he's into.
But Peter, are they taught that? If they're not taught that,
Honestly, I don't think so.
are they willing to? Even though they're not taught that, are they willing to learn that? That is something I've been asking that question for a while because when we talk about marriage, I understand a man supposed to give. Most of us guys who come up from old school homes were taught what a man's supposed to be. How he supposed to be a provider, how he supposed to take care of the house, how he supposed to do this X, Y, and Z. How he supposed to be responsible, how he supposed to hold himself accountable. Gotta have a level of self-awareness. Question is, are women taught the same type of level of what a wife's supposed to be?
No.
Yeah, it has to be there. It absolutely has to be there. But I still think that certainly there are women who would certainly fit that profile, or at least are willing. And again, like I said, I've told this on several occasions. My wife, a lot of people wouldn't call my wife a wife when I first married her. My wife didn't know how to cook when we first got married. But in all that stuff you talk about is skill. What I was looking for was a mindset and an attitude. It's like anything else. If you have the right mindset and attitude, you can learn. But if you have a mindset that is completely self-serving, then it doesn't matter what you teach them. It's not going to stick, or they're not going to apply it in the proper mindset. It's like working out. I mean, look, you can come to the gym with all these ideas or whatnot. If you're not willing to, if you don't have the mindset, I can teach you how to lift. That's the easy part. Are you going to show up on time? Do I have to be chasing you down saying, hey, you're 15 minutes late for the appointment? Or are you of a mindset, you're calling me, hey, we still on for 8 o'clock, right? Yeah, we're still on for 8 o'clock. So again, the mindset must be there before the actions or the skills can be built. And I agree that certainly there is a mindset that needs to be changed, especially in a lot of women, in terms of what the expectations of marriage are, and even for men, what the expectations of marriage are. But everyone is operating off of this selfish, and again, in full transparency, my wife and I didn't necessarily have that together when we got married, because everything was real good up until we had, I'd say, my second child. Because then it got thick because we had 3 babies in 4 years.
Wow.
So from her point of view, it's like, look, I got one on the breast, I got one I'm chasing, I got one on the, and I'm still in my, well, what about me? So I had to learn some things about, rather than me complaining about what I wasn't getting, I had to start asking myself, how can I support you? We went through that rough patch like that when I was feeling, well, my needs weren't getting met. Not understanding the seasons that we were in. So even with us, I'm not coming into this conversation like I know it all or that I'm holier than thou or anything. We had to go through that time of selfishness. And there have been several times we went through that. When my wife went through menopause, that was another one. Because I'm sure as women know, you go through menopause, things aren't as
Oh my
they
God,
used
I'm
to.
dreading that.
The temperature's never right.
Oh, you're not there? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I
Get
haven't.
ready
I
for it.
haven't encountered that yet.
Well, to a degree, fortunately, maybe maybe the fact that you're not married yet, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, because we hit the wall again.
And that's another
So this
reason.
ride that we've
Is
been
that
on,
another reason why you
what's that?
always say seasons versus years, Paul?
It happened after during COVID is when I made that change. Because what happened during COVID was we had a lot of friends, like I said, a lot of our friends, associates, church members. Again, our kids grew up together. They sang in the choir together. They were on the praise dance team together. We were in couples ministries together. So we knew these folks for years. And when C-19 hit, you fall out of contact with people for a while or whatever. We were meeting virtually and whatnot, so you couldn't catch up with everybody. And then coming out of it, it was just like a wave of people who were just not together anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? So again, now we were fine. COVID, if anything, made us closer. It was in a lot of ways, we didn't miss a beat. But for some of these other couples, they didn't make it. So boy, you got 20 years in. What are you talking about? I'm thinking, if y'all haven't figured it out by now, or if you haven't figured out that it's better that you guys stay together, then I'm like, man.
What it is? It's a
So
fact of
to answer your question, David, I'm saying just to finish the point, I made that transition then that I can't take any year of my marriage for granted. It doesn't matter that I've been married for 27 years. So I use like I said, a sports, like a football analogy, right? Eagles just won the Super Bowl, but guess what? They're going to find out very quickly that victory is going to be very fleeting.
Don't remind me. They won.
And they better start thinking about already next month is the combine. The month after that is mini camp. And before you know it, you're going to be in another season again. So even when you succeed, I'll be 28 years, March 29th, I'll be 28 years completed. But we have very little time to celebrate because there's the next season. So I developed that mindset knowing that, I know people 30 years and they split. I'm like, what's the point?
Mr. Paul Bennett, I want to speak on that.
It still happens.
I want to speak on that. Those people that you know in your church, if it's safe to say that they were forced in a situation that was new to them, because for one, before the pandemic, they had limited time to themselves. They would to work, then they come home, or they go to church, or they come home. They wasn't in their faith 24/7, and that was more like the real test.
I would say some of it was economic, because again, people lost jobs, right? Economic changes. There was a lot of people who were affected in one way or another. So it wasn't just you're in the house 24/7. There's all these other things that you got to worry about.
Good.
And so again, or just it could be health related. Again, at any time, things can change. You can lose a career, not just a job, but a career. Because I think anybody can get a job, but a career. You think they're handing out CEO or VPs or executive positions like that? They're not. or you have a health challenge or something that drastically affects, or you go into that phase of life when now you got parents to be thinking about and their care and whatnot. And I've seen that strain relationships also when mom moves in with you or dad moves in with you. So again, at any time, things can go the other way depending on the phase of life. So you're gonna have your dink phase, double income, no kids. That's like honeymoon time. It's like, hey, do what you want, where you want, whatever you want. Boom. Kids, especially if you have them like in succession, that's a change in your dynamic. Work career changes, another dynamic. Kids off the college, when kids, turn adolescence and your kids are in travel team and you're on the road weekends at a time, then so again, at every phase you're gonna be having these things, these seasons in your life that have come up. Are you built for it, or are you in preparation for it? And a lot of times it's almost like the boat on the water. Like I said, we're on a cruise. You get off 1 degree off the destination that you're at over time, you're gonna find yourself drifting. That's oftentimes what happens. People drift. It's not a lot of times. It's not the big stuff. It's stuff that has lingered over time, but you've drifted so far. And then when the pandemic hit, then people realized where they really were, and they realized they weren't necessarily in a good place. But then there wasn't the willingness to keep it going, to fight for it. So yeah, it's all kinds of things, but you have to be intentional about every year. So I don't care. So I'm gonna celebrate my anniversary, maybe for a day, maybe a weekend, extend it somewhere, whatever. But it's already season 29. I'm gonna have a kid in medical school. Like, I got to move her to out of the country. So there are life events that are going to be coming up that we got to be like, all right, what's next? But I could care less that I've been married 27 years. It doesn't mean anything to me. And it gets worse every year you're married, because the goal of marriage is supposed to be death.
Dang.
So if it's 2 years in and you get divorced or whatever, it's like, okay, well, that's like the trial run. 30 years in and you get divorced, that's tragic. 40 years in, that's tragic. So again, the mindset has to be, every year. Just to get back to the theme of the show, should it be contractual? No. But it should be seasonal. You should, I think, every year. How do you get to, because he's like, oh my gosh, 50, 60 years, God willing, if we get
Paul,
there.
look at my parents. They were 40 something years in their marriage, no, 45 years in the marriage, and they called it quits finally.
Yeah, but from what you've described, though, like that's why I talk about that. That's why I talk about that drift, because then you talked about some things that your father revealed to you about things that were going on. So things weren't right for a while. So I'm not talking about just in the state of marriage. I'm talking about the work that actually builds and produces and stimulates marriage. It's an active sport. And if one decides to stay on the sidelines, then it's not going to work. So you have to be intense. So now, again, I don't like the idea of saying that marriage is hard work. I don't like that at all, because marriage, I think, is one of the easiest things when you have the right mindset. It's one of the easiest things you'll ever do. It's easier being married. Much, much easier. How you go through life, how you handle things, the consolidation of things, that you feel empowered. But if the mindset is right, if you guys go in different directions, it can be hell. It could be hellacious. And again, my wife and I have gone through some of that hellacious time. Again, when our selfishness started to get the best of us, we had to fight for that.
Is it safe to say society has corrupted today's mindset?
Well, society is the people, right? So, I mean, when you say society, I guess there's two ways I can go with that. I can say, is this an intentional by the powers that be to destroy things? No, but again, the society is made up of people, and a lot of times is ultimately what you're exposed to at the end of the day. And then also people have to make up in their minds what cycle do they want to break. I mean, especially black people. I'll say black Americans specifically, because I don't know about Africans. But it's just been cycles, certainly over the past 60, 70 years. It's just been this cycle. And I'm asking the questions like, when we going to break this? Just because you came from, like, I didn't come from the best home situation, neither did my wife. But we were like, we going to end this. Because we got around some people, we got some mentorship, we got some teaching, we got some instruction. Even if we went through those bad times, we were still able to get through it. It's not saying it's not perfect, but you have to be in an environment and mindset. It's like, Ray, when you talk about financial literacy and education, you have to be intentional about wanting that. But if only one person wants it, that's tough. So my wife and I, we are thank you very much. We are, I would say the best thing we got going on right now is that neither one of us wants to leave. That's it. I mean, at the end of all the other stuff, I can say you can do this and how do you get. That's why I don't want to be a marriage advisor. I don't want to be a marriage coach. I don't want to do one of that. Because it's going to be different for every situation. But my wife and I, we do not want to. I don't want another woman. Period. I love my wife. I love her body. I only want sex with her. That's it. I can look at another woman. I can say, yeah, she's bad. She's fine. All that kind of stuff. All that. But sex is like, ew, I can't imagine having sex with another woman. I don't want another woman.
And boy, you one of a few rare men who say that. Most men are like, oh, I want that. I want that.
Now, like I said, I can observe an attractive woman. I'm not saying that. I'm not blind to that. But again, to actually go through the act, that's why adultery never made sense. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, you can actually get with somebody and then get back into your own bed with your wife. I'm sorry, I don't care about talk about the high value men and all that kind of stuff and all that kind of rhetoric and whatnot. That's just grimy as heck to me. I just can't understand how you can do that. The risk that you're taking, what are you bringing? What diseases that you could potentially bring into your home?
That you're arguing science, though. That's how we got here. There wouldn't be enough people if there weren't some guys out there populating the planet, because you're not going to do it.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
I mean, it's just what it is.
Trust me, that drive, that drive is there. I'm just saying, but I just don't have it in me to do it. So again, we're both in that same mind. We just want to be, we just want us.
Yeah.
We don't get it right. We may still say the wrong thing. We could be inconsiderate. We can be whatever. But at the end of the day, we still want us. I still want her. She still wants me. And that's really, for me, the secret, if there is one, to everything. And it's gotten better every year that I've been with my wife. Because like I said on the last show, I don't know if my wife, when I decided to choose her, I'm not saying that she was the one. She was a one, meaning she fit the profile. And I went with it. But I wasn't going to be like, oh, well, yeah, she's nice, but here, let me put it to the side and let me check out somebody else and then see what she can do. It's like, no, I got the bird in the hand. I'm not letting it go. So I think, again, just overall, yes, I think marriages, I don't think marriages necessarily have a contract, at least in the legal sense. Now, again, if you're going to do that, then there's a whole bunch of legislation, how that's going to flesh out. If you want to have something like, okay, well, marriage, just like you got to renew your driver's license, at least in New Jersey, you got to renew it every 4 years.
It's funny you say that, Paul. Let me play the next video because that goes well what you were just saying.
I do think that marriage should be,
You gotta get a
yes, an
renewal.
expiration date, and you have to be like just like your driver's license or car registration or whatever the case may be. I think 7 years. No, no,
They
no.
renew their vows.
They renew their vows, but it's
Yes.
not
Mm-mm.
official.
I'm talking
They're
about,
doing it for their own self
yeah,
gratification.
and because they want that marriage, that new the wedding they didn't have back in the day.
Right.
But I think that after every 7 years, and I think 7 is a good number, that you should revisit. It should expire like your license. You should take it back down there and say, do we want to renew or not? And if you don't, and if you do,
No.
I don't hate it.
I feel you're going to say that too.
I don't hate the idea. Like I said, if you want to, what I was talking about was a mindset.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to
If you
pop that
actually
up
want
because
to, I got you. But I'm saying all that stuff I was talking about before, that's a mindset that I was describing. That I treat my marriage yearly, like a season.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to try to roll something out practically, then honestly, I don't mind. And hopefully, I would hope that people in that time of before it's renewed, because usually you just renew your license online. You don't even think about it. You just kind of go and do it. But could there be a time for some sort of evaluation, some sort of counseling, some sort of something where people can really, you get people to really talk about what the state of the marriage is, like really get to the detail? Because like I said, especially in those long-term marriages that I was talking about, yeah, maybe if there was an opportunity, maybe in year 10, to kind of do an assessment in terms of kind of like where we are and how are things going and, and whatnot. And again, do you want to re-up? Or if there's something that needs to be dealt with, let's deal with it now. And let's, negotiate the terms of it going forward. So it shouldn't just be like a renewal just of the same old. Go into the new contract, just like when a player, when your 5 years is up and you're going to renegotiate that new contract, you want that usually that second contract is the big one, right? So again, the first that rookie deal is like the cheapest contract. If they're going to re-up in year 5 and going forward, that's where if you're an NFL player, that's where you make your big money, that first big one. If they really love you, you may get another one on the back end, like Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I don't mind in concept people talking about, hold on, let's just make sure, because again, especially when you have those seasons that we're talking about. So again, from year 1 to 5, no kids in that time, great. Which is another reason why I don't think you should get married before you have, with kids in tow. I think that just messes everything up. Definitely married before you carry. One thing also, what I've also said in the past, what I've done with my wife, and this was kind of our deal. We kind of did something like this, but we kind of did it on our own. Going into the marriage, the deal was we're going to be married for 3 years before we even think about having kids. Because my thing is, if you can't be my wife, I don't want you having my kids. Because God forbid later on you turn my kids against me.
Yep.
So I don't want to have kids with you if I can't live with you. And keep in mind also, our courtship to marriage was very short. We only, from the first date to marriage, was 10 months. So we weren't in that multi-year engagement thing. Like I said, I'm not down with that either. If I give you a ring, we get married within a year. So for us, that time living together, like I said, at our worst, because you're dating somebody, you're at your best.
Right.
I'm talking about waking up with bad breath, breaking wind in the bed in the middle of the night, all that stuff. The good, the bad, the ugly. I got drool. I got morning breath. I got whatever. We dealing with all of that.
Hey, don't forget about a Dutch oven. That's the best part in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right, Grace?
Throw that in as well.
Yep.
We doing all of that.
You did not Dutch oven your wife.
So in a way, we kind of had our own sort of deal.
I never had a wife.
I
like
did.
That.
Yeah. But see, I like that, right? But if you go into, that's the thing. And again, again, people come from different circumstances and whatnot. But again, if I was to implore anybody, please don't have kids until you're ready to be a parent. And too many people, especially with Black people, especially, I mean, the marriage with the baby bump, the wedding with the baby bump. I mean, put yourself in, but give yourself a chance to see, do I really truly want to parent with this person? If you guys got different financial values and goals or whatnot that you haven't worked out in your childhood stage, it's not going to get any different when you have kids. It's just going to exacerbate the issue. So yeah, have a probationary period. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, no kids. Now, another thing is get married young enough where that's not an issue. Because if you get married at 35, you might be like, look, women, my eggs is like, you know, we gotta speed this up. But again, give yourself some time to enjoy married life. Because guess what? So once the kids come, especially like I said, we would popping them out. 22, my kids are 22 months apart. We were just popping them out. We knew that for at least a 15, 16, 17 year period, that our life was not going to be our own. Now, when it actualized itself, we still had to adjust to it, but we kind of went in. The last vacation that we took that was just us, my wife was 4 months pregnant with my first one. We went on a cruise. We just went on the last cruise. 25 years later, we went on another cruise. But in that time, we weren't even thinking about, because again, we knew the assignment. It was going to be about them and whatnot. But again, we still struggle with that. So yeah, so if you're talking about systemically as a national thing, you know what? You guys, come to this point, I would say get some counseling, get some, just see, are you guys good? Now, again, if you guys decide to go in, this is your chance to get out. If you guys decide to go in for another 7-year or however the terms are, if you guys split, nobody gets nothing. So women, don't become talking about alimony. I don't want to hear about nothing. You guys signed up for this. If it ends, it ends. Nobody, don't come to me with anything. Unless, again, now if there's DV and all that other stuff, that kind of crazy stuff going on, that might be, you're clearly violating the terms of the deal. But I like an assessment. I that especially in these times when people aren't thinking 40, 50 years down the line, it could work. I'd say, in some case, give it a
Mr.
shot.
Bennett, I suggested like a retreat, like get a 3-4 day getaway and just get the counseling, just get to talking, reconnecting. There's a lot of times where couples just are so busy with raising kids and work. You need to reconnect as just as a couple.
But again, I like that idea. Again, a weekend can't cure. If you're talking about 7 years in, a weekend's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that reconnecting, you have to find a way to reconnect as you're going.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you got to stay connected.
Yeah.
There's one thing I will say.
That has to be an active activity in the marriage itself, not something you can just take yourself out
Before
of.
you go, David, like one of my best friends, CQ, he always told me stuff like he always took his wife to, like, even isn't like in the same town, a weekend at the hotel or a date night or going out for dinner or going to some resort. It doesn't matter if they're the same town or he has to go a couple states out or in a different country. He made sure he had time for his wife through the whole marriage. 20 years now in, and they're like newlyweds with a kid. And we're like, how do you guys make it work? We're like, we make time. Like,
it makes a difference.
You're right, Peter.
I said my wife and I we'll go down to AC. Atlantic City's an hour and 10 minutes away. And we could be in Cali. We can be outside the country.
You just got back from a cruise. What was it? A month ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but you don't even have to do
I
that.
agree.
I mean, our pain even talks about it. But I mean, again, in that situation, you can literally be naked and not worry about someone coming to the door. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think,
When I'm
well,
home, even if the kids are out of the house, there's still that fear. Somebody may come in, somebody may barge, phone, something. It's just when you're like away like that, even if it's not that far away, and nobody really knows where you are. Even that, it's just a different
Yeah.
what I think, I
thing. It's
call
like you
this,
can in your
and this
mind.
is
Okay,
weird,
go
and
say.
David, you can go next, is uh, being naked, not physically naked, mentally naked. Like, you don't have to.
No, physically too. No,
It's
everything.
expression of speech.
It's
He said
everything, man.
everything.
I'm telling
Thank you.
Everything.
I'm not taking my
you.
clothes off here,
It's
but okay.
Everything.
Yeah, like, I'm not
that's
taking my clothes off. Calm down. But fuck you, David. Like, what I mean by that, physically too and mentally, is because that mental wise, like, let go of your guard. Forget you have to walk the dog. Forget, as much as I love my little Alex. Forget you have to run to the pharmacy and pick up medication. Forget you gotta go do this. Forget that. Just be naked. Forget everything. Shut down everything, even your phone for a weekend, and just spend time banging your girl, and that's all you need to worry about. And having some food, have some cocktails, and a cigar, and call it a night. Nothing wrong with that. And that's what I think. Go ahead, David.
No, here's the thing. I listen
Oh,
to
before you go here, make sure the cigar is a Winston cigar, one of the best brands out there. Just saying.
hear Mr. Bennett speak about a lot of things. It all fall down to mindset, right? And I asked him, is it possible today's society corrupted the mindset? If you are an individual in this fucked up society whose mindset is different from most, would it be safe to say to leave the society and go to somewhere else that you have similar mindset that you have, instead of being this shitty ass gutter splinter dating pool with mutated rats and rascals? If that were the case, because
if you're
I
asking,
know I'm
you're
responding to what you're saying because
mm,
I listen very carefully, and every detail is already boiled down to things. The ideology, what's your view, what's your mindset, what's your principle that you stand by on, what do you believe in, how do you live by, and for the young folks who in this fucked up society, which is the United States of America, whose mindset is completely different from the majority most. If you want to find someone that has similar mindset, you cannot find it here. Would it be safe to say it's better to stack your bed and relocate somewhere else?
if you want it. If you, I would say this: if that's what you believe, then I would say go ahead and follow your beliefs. I just believe that there's enough people here to do that. The question is, like I said earlier, when you say what do you want, once you start talking about what you want, and then you put the action in to get around and to follow and to pursue like-minded people. I think there's people here. Likewise, you go now again. I hear stuff about Africa, for example, all the time. That the African women, because of America, are really no different, or they're acting in ways just like the American women
And
are. I see the Nollywood
you're
films.
correct.
They're doing a lot of the same stuff. And I find it interesting because, and I've called a lot of you African brothers out. I love you guys.
And you did. I respect
But
that.
think about the African men that we encountered in this space. They didn't marry African women. So your cousin Mike Ekene married an American
Get 'em.
woman.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Take heed to the message.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband Mac found her, and she admitted that back in the day she was not
Get him.
the greatest person to be around.
And I 100%.
So I find it interesting. The Africans are marrying
And here's
American
the thing.
women, and the American men are saying, "Where are the good American
Well,
women?"
I mean, I don't see a plethora
I'm
of
I
African men
100%
marrying
agree
them.
with you.
Yeah.
And this is something I spoke
What's
about
that?
for more than 2 decades. A lot of African men who come here either choose to marry non-African women, that's based on their choice of either out of retaliation. Let me be frank with you. I put myself on a microscope. I chose not to marry an African woman in spite of I don't want my mother influence my wife behind my back to give me a bitter taste. That's my own personal reason why I chose not. If not, I would have married an African woman. But knowing the kind of parents I have, it will be depressing whereby I'm trying to speak to my wife, but my mom is in my wife's ear a bit too much. Because I let us rely on our marriage between two of us, but we're more like two against one. And among African their culture, the daughter always has to respect the mother-in-law of her husband. If she's trying
But
to give
isn't
us
that
some
most
advice,
cultures?
excuse me?
Isn't that most cultures? And like even in Greek cultures, it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what side it is. You will respect your in-laws no matter what.
and I get that. But my reason not marrying one because I don't want to go through that experience whereby I know that my mom telling her I can know how my mom think and she telling her idea she bring to my faith. I was like, I don't like this. So I chose not to do that. And the aftermath, I wish I didn't. Now both my parents are 6 feet under, so I could say F them and move on with my life. So if I choose to marry an African, that would be my choice. And I get what Mr. Bennett, he called it, I'm not going to argue. The truth is the truth. And I get that. But trying to find someone whose foundation is solid is not weak when trouble come or I'm out of here. I cannot take this or this is too much. But you're there when it's good, but you're not there when it's bad. And when you talk about your peers who after the pandemic, the question is, what were their foundation was based on? Was it a solid foundation? So when the pandemic hit, they should have been solid, even with 30 years plus. That's a question to ask. What kind of foundation they built their
Hmm.
marriage on? Because it seemed like
Well, a lot of times you're not going to know it until it's tested. I mean, how well you until the storm comes,
hmm
right? Like I said, we had ours, maybe not to the degree that they had. I guess we wouldn't allow
hmm
it, but our foundation was such we were able to overcome the storms. But there were definitely some tumultuous times, and I told you precisely when those times came. When you're that probationary period or whatever, it's important. But until again, when you have kids, like I said, plural, when you're talking about my wife getting 3 hours of sleep a night
Mm-hmm.
because one is up, got the teething, and one is doing this and that or whatever. And it's like, look, what do you want from me? I'm wiped out. And I'm still worried about my sexual urges.
and,
I mean, those are again, those are the things that um that will test you.
and you're totally correct.
And so I would say this, David, and again, I love you, and I certainly pray for you that certainly you have this next season in your life will be certainly better than it has been. But just from based on what you're describing, those issues that you have, especially with your parents and whatnot, again, those are things that marriage can't fix,
Mm-hmm.
no matter who the woman is or was. Marriage can't fix that. So again, I think and this is something that everybody who wants to even embark on this, are you really ready for this? Because marriage in one way or another is not only about the individuals, it is about, especially back in the day, and Ray, I'm sure knows about this, marriage was about brought communities,
Yep.
villages, tribes, nations together. The married couple, you guys were like the byproduct. You guys weren't even that important. You were like, oh, we either going to kill each other off, one tribe against another, or we're going to end this thing. How do we end it? Oh, your son's going to marry my daughter, and we're going to be, and that's how it was. But from where you're at right now, or the trauma, and again, I feel you on that. What you had to go through, no man, no party should have to go through. But those things you take into a relationship, that's going to be very hard. So when things do, and then so you still dealing with that, and then when that again those marital stresses come, now you got that to deal with. So again, so everybody has to take that self inventory. Do I want this? Am I ready for this? And for the person that you're with, that's why it's also good to be very transparent about your life and where you're at, because what you're asking this person is, will you take me on? That's why I said I don't worry about being good. My thing is this is who I am. Can you rock with that? My wife said yes. And she had stuff too. She made me actually sit in front of her mom. Her mom had to break down because, again, when you used to get with the family, everything was all hunky dory and everything. But she was like, look, I want you to know what my family really is and what really went down. So she made her mom come out and said, Mom, tell them. This is when we're dating. Tell them. What is our family dynamic at this point? And she broke it down. There was some infidelity. The father, this father's still cool. I love the father just as much as I love the mom. God rest her soul. But they let me know this is what it is. So she was putting it down. Do you still want to deal with me? I said yes. So again, but the idea that, again, in a country of 300 and some million people, half of one sex, with 2 million more females than males, I refuse. I'm not going to buy a mindset that says I should just leave the country and say, well, let me find over there or over here or what have you. Now, again, I'm not stopping anyone. You want to take your passport and go? I'm saying, bro, go find your happiness wherever that is. God bless you. I mean that. But again, if you take that same, you could still take that same mindset with you out of the country. And so you have to be you have to be whole. So I just want folks, just in general, not for you or for anybody else, think about that as you think about, okay, I'm going to go here and do and say this or that. Are you good? So
I'm glad you said that. I need to hear that because this is something I've been trying to go into discussion about dealing with relationship. Are you really to take them into who they are? And when I listen to a lot of these panels, I know where Chris sees it, I see it. There's too much hypocrisy. People not being their true, authentic self. They pretend to be something they're not a lot. And when you call out the bullshit or you know the bullshit, you start to question everybody acting the same way too, or everybody pretending. I be who I am 24/7, 7 days a week, if I'm on a platform or not. This is me. This is what I am. But I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to pick your brain. And I'm thinking the younger generation who are watching the older guys like me, Record Way, Peter, Grace, they're seeing the shenanigans. They're asking themselves, how am I sure this person will be authentic with me and not pretend to be something they're not? Who can I use? Who can I call to verify that the person is actually legit? Because, Mr. Bennett, I will say that then, Grace said it correctly. You are a gem. You are a rare breed. I know you observing. Your daughter must have told you how the society is in their age, or how things are coming about, how people are operating. My kid will soon get to that place, and I'm listening very carefully to some of the things they talk about. And I asked him, where are these logic coming from? And I'm listening to compare. I'm like, this is no different from the generation before. It's just a different slang, different word. It's like a repeat. Question is, do we have to, I don't know, leave the city, go to the urban area, live near a farm? Is that the case? Should we go to a small town that's not infected by the social media or the big city mentality? You're right. There's 300 plus million people. But just like us who are staying home, we are staying home. We're not going out. Are you not saying the female not doing the same exact thing because they're seeing the simp in their DM, all type of nonsense, but they are kind of concerned that if they go out, they'll meet predators. You
Mm-hmm.
can't force them to come out. So where are the safe spaces to go to in this
Mm-hmm.
screwed up society? That is the question. I'm not mentioning the
Mhm.
bars. I can't even mention the church. The church is off limit because you don't have to take my word. You don't have to take what there's many people that talk about what they've seen in the church. They thought it never going to happen, and it happened. The school. Well, we see the report for the past 2 decades, all the shit that goes on in school. Either you're in college or you're high school, even going to college, or you're in trade school. We see the shenanigan there. So what are the safe space to meet such people? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because
David,
it's not about, oh, let's get a passport and leave. If there's no other alternative space to go to meet authentic people who are looking for the same exact thing, what do you expect them to do? Put a Make a signal on that house. If you're authentic, you see the flag, knock on my dog. I'm just being logical.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, the hose be everywhere.
yeah.
Like,
Before we go to our final thoughts, David, I want to send something to you specifically. I know this is a new chapter in your life. Please take this because I love you to death. You know this. We have this conversation in private too. You know I see you like a brother, a big brother, in a way. And I'm trying to right. Shut up, there. I'm trying to make it serious. Um, but before you get into any relationship overseas, here, however you decide it, get some therapy first, dude. Trust me, it does work. But you have to
No, I
go in
did.
it with an open
I
mind.
did. I did do that, but I kind of got it for free through somebody. But you know that I got the therapy. I had to sit back and start thinking about a lot of things. I start making rules and principles. That's what we're
That's
doing.
good.
And to say this, I've been separated for 4 years. All I've been doing is working on my principles, what I will not stand for, what I'll be okay with, and I had to tweak it. Because I gotta ask myself, am I willing to go through this again or not?
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because,
All right.
like you said, our mental health is very vital.
Oh yeah, I took that very granted. I like it. I used to be before you guys met me. Fuck mental health. Only pussies get it. No,
Mhm.
I was an idiot saying that. So I am telling
David,
you from
if I
experience.
if I can ask you a question, now I know oftentimes we see on the shows your kids are around. Do your kids live with you? Are you the primary caretaker, or it's split time,
So,
or if you don't mind sharing?
technically, I live together with the soon-to-be ex and the two kids who live together. Even though they're in New York City, it's not that easy.
Okay,
We
all right,
both work,
got it.
and I know when that time come, I will have to leave the kid behind, which is be hard too because they're my motivation. That will make me deal with the shitty jobs or the crappy job, whatever bullshit I had to go through because I don't even think of them. What can I do to provide for them? That is what give me my battery to be the juggernaut to go through whatever crap I have to go through and not care
Mhm.
about it. So after this, I gotta soak my feet in Epsom salt foot bath because it's excruciating pain. I don't got health insurance, so I can't get a chiropractor whatsoever. So I had to go back to my old ways of self help whatsoever. I know that,
Mm.
but only can last for so long. But being where I'm at right now, my focus is make sure they are taken care of any way possible. Make sure my financial foundation is rock solid. But if I don't get into something that's serious, my principle have to be aligned. They're not crazy. They're very rational. They're very logical. And I put clauses in just in case of. I don't mind asking the question. I don't mind taking my time to see their mindset. But the thing that I will check myself, I will ask them, can they check themselves?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you talk about mindset, ideology, people say, oh, yes, I do that. Yes, it's easier said than done. You live by it.
Yeah.
You hold yourself to it.
Right.
This is something that I have been taught to be that way, and I blame myself not standing firm on it before this happened. Now I am forced to stand on it rock hard to the point whereby if she don't fit the criteria, which is logical, I'm better off by myself. I don't
And
need the
sometimes you need
stress.
to do that, David. Just be alone for a little bit till you
Oh,
figure that
I've
out.
been I've been alone for 4 years and counting, so I'm not wasting my time going through the drama with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
It's
All right.
how would I put this? If I see the warning flag, I didn't just do. I disappear. You not see me again. It's that simple.
So in other words, you're gonna put a ray on them.
Bruh. I mean,
Nah,
All
I would
right.
not. I would not throw Red Cliff Ray. He will sue me for that.
Let's get our final thoughts in. Let's change it up. Let's get ladies first tonight. Ray, you're second. David and
okay.
Paul last.
Well, as far as this was a great topic. Um, as far as from my experience, I don't take the fact that my marriage ended as a loss anymore. I take it as a lesson. Our son our son is in college, he's working, he's doing well, he's healthy. I made sure I put him in therapy when we separated because I know what it can do to a child. I went to counseling. So we all need to get counseling, especially after a long marriage, but the goal is and will always be for me the family unit. We need each other. Man needs a woman and a woman needs a man, and children especially need us. So people like Mr. Bennett, even people like women like me who was married and under the covering of a man for 12 years, we need to not still continue to keep teaching these young children. They need to understand that it's better together than separate. I'm still going to talk to my son about getting married. And Mr. Bennett, you made me feel kind of good because I did ask him those questions. You know, how many children do you have? What do you want? What do you look for in a chick that's maybe wifey material? So I've planted those seeds, but I have told him that the fact that he's 18, he needs to stay on his purpose for the next 10 years and lay the foundation. So great conversation, gentlemen. I'm always learning from you guys. I'm always getting backlash from other people, but that's okay because when you know better, you do better. And I'm going to become and am a better version when I do. When my husband finds me, I will be that wife that I need to be to live the latter part of my life. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. And Peter, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Don't give up on asking me. I may be busy, I may not, but when I'm available, I will definitely make myself available for you.
I
Thanks
told
for
you this.
having
I'll
me.
tell you again. You're always welcome to come on here. Remember that.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you.
Okay. My final thoughts are the American dream is leaving America. I mean, it just is what it is. I don't have like
I'm dying.
the rose colored glasses that everyone else has that like I think that there were a generation of women where you could just get along with somebody and like find somebody that you could get on with, and then those people have made the decision that they are going to live the rest of their lives together. Everyone else comes from the fast food generation that got hit and lambasted with the internet. And now everything is instant gratification. People, you see these old heads get on Facebook and completely crash out over someone that they knew when they were 13, their long lost first boyfriend, and nuke their families. Literally seen that happen because the wife got on Facebook. Like, I just don't have that perspective of like I see people getting married and like it takes a very specific mentality, but then again, we're not seeing the end of if those people are married till it's over or until someone dictates that it's over. Like, you still don't know. But what I do know for a fact is the cost for me as a man who has things is extremely high. Way higher than any woman who comes in here, unless I marry somebody who actually has more wealth than I do, which women of that caliber are in even immensely minuscule amount of women. So the risk reward on it just really isn't conducive to, wanting to engage in potentially giving up your finances unless they're going to be willing to subject themselves to an ironclad, and I mean ironclad prenup, because I've already thought that through. That's on a piece of paper. With that said, like me wanting to travel, I'm assuming that if I'm putting myself in spaces where there are women of other cultures when I'm traveling around, then, if I find somebody that I can get on with in that respect, then like we'll do that and have a dual citizenship family and, do that type of stuff, because those are things that I want. It's just the getting it that becomes the problem, because like David had previously said, where do we find those women? Because most of the women that I find that I'm like, oh, hey, this is a good person with the same values that I got, they're already married. Like that it's just kind of like where you're at. It's just like because that value set is not a common one. It's just not. Look at the advertising that we got during the last election. Oh, you vote conservative, you're creepy. You vote conservative, no one's going to sleep with you. Like, those are ads that they actually ran. Just saying. Seen them. So it makes dating, if you have any type of morals or principles, darn near impossible for the vast majority of people. And so it's like you got to do what you got to do at a certain point, right? Like, it just is what it is. Not necessarily being doom and gloom, guys. You should get yourselves in the best shape you can get into, the most money you can get, so that you have the most options available to you possible. And then just navigate how you see fit, because then the world will navigate on your terms. You're probably not going to turn a hoe into a housewife, though, ever. That's just who they are. I'm going to call it on that.
I like what Reckless Ray said. I like what Grace said. I'll just be real front. Fellas, if you're planning to get married, get a notebook. Ask yourself, not only what do you want, what will you tolerate, what you will not tolerate, what is your deal breaker. List out your principle. Make sure you're a man of principle. You're not going to be wishy-washy with it. I'm saying it from experience. There's nothing wrong compromising, but it's bad compromise with a person who's not putting the same that you're putting in. Remember what I said earlier. If the scale is imbalance, if what you put in outweigh what she putting in, there's a problem. You don't have to take my word and say go and get your passport and leave. The question to ask, how long are you willing to wait until you find that person? If you don't have that patience to wait, then what is your plan? Yes, we live in a global market. Yes, the American society is now influencing a lot of other society whereby people are copying now, whether they're copying something that's completely garbage. That is true. But as time progresses, people start to catch on and say, I'm not going to follow this. So ask yourself this question. It's not that what do you want? Are you willing to go long term with something that matches what you're looking for? If not, what alternative do you have? Are you willing to go to another society that is completely different from here? Hoping you find something completely different. Because let's be real, just like the guys that are staying home, who are not dating no more, There are women who have the same similar mindset as the guys who they want to be with are not even trying to come out no more. They're not going to the bars. They're not going to the clubs. Some ain't trying to have social media because their DM get flooded. It's by any chance they post a picture or two of what they look like. Or the suddenly they cannot take it. So then what? What are they not in your environment? How will you know what environment they're in? Look at a dating app. I'm saying these things because realistically things have to change, but if it's not gonna change, I would suggest remove yourself from it. Maybe it is true that the women in today's society don't deserve quality men. They deserve garbage. That's what the way to say. But who knows? Just remember one thing. Stay on your principle. Don't shake. Don't go to the left or the right for nobody. If she's not what you're looking for, pass her by and let her be. I digress.
Well, let's say again, when it comes to marriage, the goal is death, but the plan is yearly. So I would certainly recommend that people have that mindset. The goal is death, but the plan is yearly. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. Now, in regards to again to the prospects, I just think that especially for folks here, I just think you got to treat it just like you treat anything else. How do you treat sales? How do you treat jobs? How many applications for anyone who has a job? How many applications? How many interviews did you have to go on before you landed that job? I'm not saying any job. I'm talking about a career job. I'm talking about a job where there's a high selection criteria. Last time I was out of work, I put in hundreds of applications, at least 3 to 5 every day for a period of at least a couple months before things started. And interesting, the job that I got wasn't one that I applied for. It just so happened that I got my name out so much that people just found my stuff because I was out there saying that, yeah, I'm looking for this is my skill set. This is who I am. This is my skill set. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And I got a call. I was driving somewhere and I got a call about my job. I had 2 interviews in the car as I was driving. So again, I don't know where your blessing is going to come from or where it comes from. And again, I'm not one of these manifest type of people who just says just think and believe it and things will happen. No, you got to put the work in. You got to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to go out with who you are and meet them wherever. I wasn't expecting to meet my wife at work. I said last show, the last place I would encourage anybody is to meet your wife at work. Simply just with the sensitivity of things is probably not the wisest place to meet a woman at work. But you still have to be open, and I think you still have to have a positive mindset to go out and say, "Hi, my name is so and so. What's your name?" and have a conversation and let people disqualify themselves. So I still think you have to go through the process, but the last video that was played, though, I definitely think that that's not a bad idea. That if you were going to try to enact something in terms of a practice, either by state or by county or what have you, a probationary period of marriage, I think, is useful. Like I said, my wife and I, we gave ourselves a 3-year probationary period. I think that's helpful. Then as you go on, if you want to have a 5 or 7 year extension on things, again, and the deal is, if you guys decide to walk away at this time, again, everybody walks away. No alimony, only child support that actually can be accounted for. and you can decide to re-up. But I mean, you have to, at the same time, you have to be intentional either way, and have, again, the tough, hard conversations about what the true state of your marriage is. Don't go into your counseling session and say, oh, everything is fine, when you know it's not. Transparency, vulnerability, those are things that you're gonna have to carry those through, regardless of whatever technique you decide to use. But I'm not negative to the idea. I think that would certainly help some people. And I don't mind a state or even the government getting involved, because, again, there is a population shortage. And unless people start having 2.1 kids again, people are going to age out. So I don't mind that, put some incentives, put some pauses to say, can we help people have healthier relationships? And then I don't mind the task. Give folks a task cut. I mean, look, if you guys going to be married for a while, give them some incentives. So I don't mind that stuff. I'm pro marriage and that, and again, that's society that promotes that, family leave, all that stuff. Put all that in there so that people can, especially in this time where you have to work harder, you can't live on one income anymore. Anything that help people stay married, I think it would be a useful thing. So yeah. So I'm not gonna poo-poo the idea, but again, if you're gonna build it for the long term, still, it's good to have, again, 1 year at a time. Take it 1 year at a time, and be honest. Have a at your anniversary, use that as a time to have a review, a yearly review. How we doing? We all right? Anything from last year that didn't go so well or whatever? And by the way, what are we doing this year? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely is a good conversation topic tonight. Thank you, and yeah, so we'll see if anyone's going to take this on seriously. But if you're not going to take it seriously, at least listen to the conversation and dialogue that was had tonight, and just take it. And if someone can benefit from this, then by all means, share it with them. But thank you for the platform, and I'll turn it back over to the host.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. Each and one of you, thank you so much. Before I go over the schedule, I want to say one thing. I always tell everybody who's younger or dating, this is the fun part. Get to know your partner. Go out. Have fun. Don't be stressed about if I'm going to marry her, I'm going to have kids. That's down the road. You don't have a black ball, rubbing around and see the future. You don't know which one is going to be the one. Just have fun in the process. And if you feel that is, then you move forward and do the right steps. This is why we have these conversations. But let's do a quick schedule update and let's get the heck out of here. So on Saturday, we're talking about this week on the Operation Hangout show is Mafia movies, Power, Lawyer, and Benefits. That should be a good conversation. Let's see how this goes. And on Sunday, we're back on the gray area after our 1 week break of Super Bowl that my big mouth voted against the Eagles, and I'm not hearing the end of this because I hate the Eagles so much. Shut up, David.
Whoop your ass.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
So,
yo, that's epic, Peter. I love that.
I get a kick out of it every time I hit it. We're going to do part 2 of What Does Love Mean to You on the gray area. Me and Paul and Bossman is going to be joining us this time too. And go fuck yourself, David. On Thursday on the anime show, we're talking about one of my favorite anime, and I'm probably going to join you guys this one because I want to put you guys in your place to see how well educated you are. Technoman, the Forgetting Hero. And for next Wednesday, we will be talking about the backbone of a family member. Excuse me, backbone of a family. Celebration of a straight wife. Yep, I said it. We're gonna go down that road. So that's gonna be. I like throwing bombs out there. So let's why not? Let's fire some little shots here and there because I have a sound effect for that too. So before we go, Ray, anything on your side? Nope. Grace?
Nope.
Nope, I have a show coming up. I got a lot of new shows coming up. You just got to stay tuned in. I don't want to lock myself on a day every week because I learned that life happens. So you guys know me. I always do a little preview before I do my show and I send it out. So, but just keep checking in, press the bell, and you'll get the notifications. And I'm on all the platforms, so you'll know. There's one good show that is coming up. It's gonna be Does Size Matter to Women? A young man emailed me and he actually wanted to know. So I've been
Shoe size.
um so I've been gathering a lot of intel, all the comments from the posts. I'm gonna ignore you, Mr. Bennett, and we're gonna talk about it. I want the men to know what women think, and I want the men to know what we need to talk about it.
Yeah, David, you wish. But Grace, let me know when you're doing a show. If I'm free, I'll join you. I'll help you.
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
will let you know.
Paul, anything on your side?
No, I'm good, sir.
Oh,
David, Pee Wee. Yes.
I'm looking forward to that very show
actually,
and see Size Doesn't Matter and see what they're gonna think.
Yeah, we know nothing on your side, but anyway, go ahead, Ray.
well, I was gonna say, I was like Wednesdays and Thursdays. I have a weekly drop, and then the first week of the month, I'm hitting every week. I've got to upload. Also, Friday, tomorrow's Misty's payout, so there's gonna be a short dropped about how much we got paid.
Happy Valentine's, guys.
Oh yeah, it's a
You know what's funny?
Valentine's
We're
Day
doing these
payout. I might go
shows,
get
like
myself a
this
nice
show
drink.
and Sunday show right around Valentine's. I didn't plan it; just happening like that. So, all right, guys. As always, this was a Spartan HQ Network. This is This is Spartan Arena. As always, please be fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Good night, everybody. Good to see you, Grace.
Good night. Same here, Mr. Bennett.
Right,
Take
yeah,
care. Bye, David. Stay